All about the family, so that when this ends, we can tie it into it so people know it's an intro to a sermon, just as opposed to something random we've done. So, all about the family, and then the first part will be called "There Are No Huxtables," but wait to put that screen up until I announce it. Right, but at the end of this one, we can just have a screen up, all about the family, you know, a black history series by Pastor Wesley, whatever, and then I'll go into it, and then when I do, There Are No Huxtables, yeah, we'll come up with that. Quiet on the set.
So this will be your feet. Yeah, you can handle that. You don't need choreography for this. So literally just that. And then I thought this could be Dr. Judy. Yep. Maybe not as close, you know, but that could be her. Whoever. I mean, this could be anyone. That could be
The Cosby Show setup is a prime example of how random conversation can turn into one of the most blessed things God has done. Let's take pen and paper, right? So, because I'm gonna call him.
The infamous Cosby Show trailer. Pastor Wesley came to me one day and said that for the month of February he was doing a family theme, and originally it was going to be Family Matters. Eventually he shifted it around a little bit more, and then it ended up just kind of being centered around the Cosby Show.
And so from there, with conversation around the creative team and Brooke, there was like, let's tie it into the Cosby Show. Next thing I know, Brooke is looking at the Cosby Show intro and randomly asked, would you do this?
And I said, you know, well, what would it take to get you to reenact that intro to that show?
And I'm looking at it going, you must be crazy. Ain't no way in the world I'm gonna get on stage doing this. Well, if you want to make God laugh, tell God what you're never going to do. It's him, then it's Felicia Rashad, then it's like the couples, the individuals. Do you remember that intro? So we want to redo that.
Hi, I'm Yanette Jones. You can call me Yaya. I am the Creative Production Multimedia Specialist here at Alfred Street Baptist Church. While at the church dealing with another technical issue, Brooke ended up stopping me, and she's like, hey, I got this idea. Pastor's about to do this new series called All in the Family, and one of the topics he's going on is not the Huxtables. We want to recreate the Cosby Show intro. The only thing was, we had to do this in a week. So I'm like, huh? We got to do this in a week? Okay, so never a dull day here at Alfred Street.
It started as an idea. The more I watched it, I started like really enjoying it. I went home and rewatched that intro on YouTube. So then I came back like it was my idea. I was like, you know what? I think we ought to create this intro. And you know, the team around me, of course, knows that they have to be like, Pastor, that's a great idea. We gave it to you yesterday, but that's still a great idea. So I was like, let's see if we can make it happen.
So whose idea was this for real?
Brooks. And I hyped it.
So I'm like, bet, let's do it.
At first he wasn't too sure about it. He wasn't sure how we'd be able to pull that off or how it would be received.
So I'm sitting here looking at the intro. I'm going through, looking. I'm like, so we can get the floor. We can get a rear-facing projector. I had an Alfred Street background made to look just like the Apollo sign that you see on the Cosby Show intro. And then, you know, it just took off from there.
You should have seen Nate and Thomas in here yesterday.
They were not happy.
So we got to peel all this? I said, yeah, sorry.
I was like, Angie, I need your help. Bobby, I need your help. We got to put this together. We got to get this done. So I went and found us a plexiglass floor. I was like, oh my gosh. My biggest thing was making sure I replicated it as best as I could
We're pulling in Ya and Angie and Bobby and the whole AV team. They're ordering the set. We're getting the music set. We're calling in volunteers to come in and dance. We're practicing our different scenes. People say, Pastor, throw in the cane. And literally that thing came together in probably 7 days and went viral in 7 seconds. It was probably the epitome of what happens when you have a team that has the right technology, that has the right experience, and that's not afraid to try something new. What time does Ebony do here? Okay. Ebony's daughter is Brooklyn, but our girl is Ava that's doing the dance. So maybe one of the greatest things we've done is create an atmosphere that enforces and fertilizes creativity. That says, let's think outside the box. Let's do something creative for God. Let's do something that the world has never seen. And the ability for it to come together so quickly just shows you got the right people around you. So Jim Collins was right in his book From Good to Great when he basically argued the difference between good and great is having the right team.
How we doing?
All right. Look at this servant leader. Come on.
And Mark, were you a part of this plan?
Being on excellence, right?
Is somebody on? I know he took my job. I don't know what happened.
I'm just helping clean up.
Can I push it? Can I push it?
Can I Push It has replaced our Bible studies here at Alfred Street. It airs on Tuesdays at 7, and as you all know, we do typically pre-record those segments.
30, there are 4 things I can't understand that are a mystery to me. And one of them is the love of a man and a woman.
Now, okay, so we all love our beloved Pastor Wesley, and we all kind of like, as the AV team, we've all learned to kind of eggshell and, try to make sure that whatever we do is already set up, we're already ready. When he walks through the door, we're on his time at that point.
And there was one day where Pastor Wesley came in. It was an amazing segment, flowed from start to finish.
When we think about the Lord and the implications of it. Let's bow in the word of prayer and then we're going to go ahead and get started.
I hit record, I left out, and everything was rolling. And then when he got done, he came through, he was like, all right, so we should be good through next week, and we work on the following week. And so I can't do sermons like that, but we can figure out this Can I Push It, because I got a lot I want to say. He was like excited. And I think that's what makes it so much worse.
We'd recorded the entire thing, and then at the end, AV comes to me and tells me it didn't take, something about the SD card. They come up with all these technological excuses because they think if they use language I don't understand, that I'm going to give them a pass on it.
Still kind of gives me PTSD. I don't know if I should say that. My name is Bobby Jean Lacey II, and I'm the director of the AV Media team. We don't make mistakes often. It's just not a thing we like to do. We put the memory card in the camera, and we recorded, and when we came back, the memory card didn't have the footage on there.
I go to check the card, bruh. I checked the card, and that joint was static. Not like it wasn't nothing recorded. I mean, it was like 1970s bars, static. I'm like, it's not here. I like mumbled it under my breath. And the people who were in the conference room with me were like, what'd you just say? And I was like, it's not here.
We recorded over an hour of material that we wound up not recording and had to redo.
There's no amount of fixing that you can do. There's no technical voodoo that we can do to bring that footage back. So at that point, I was like, ooh. So feel bad for whoever has to make that phone call.
God's grace.
I was so frustrated, I just left. I was like, you know what? I'll catch y'all tomorrow, or maybe not.
The only time we have ever lost a recording. Sometimes there's technical difficulties that you can't foresee, which is why we always have to have updated equipment and always have new things, because something may get old and it fails on you.
We don't seek to just live
But by that point, we were kind of used to just things happening that were beyond our control. So he was very understanding, while he was a little frustrated at the thought of having to still come in and do it the next day. Very understanding at this point, because if there's one thing we've learned during this season, it's that we can't control everything.
She gonna stay up here or go down with us?
Yeah.
Stay up.
I appreciate Pastor. He handled it really well. Came back in the next day. We reshot. He said he was happy to redo it anyway. And we moved on. But that's definitely still a nightmare I have. So now we double and triple and backups to backups and backups. Everything. Everything. Absolutely everything.
So as the director of Kaya, last year we did not do much in 2020 in regards to like our Kaya services. So I did want to at least close the year and engage our supporters and our followers with something. So I had the idea to do a Kaya Christmas concert.
Brooke pulled me to the side again and was like, hey, I got this idea. You know, I was listening to this CD, this album just sent me to glory and back, and I want to do a Kaya concert. We need a concert. We need something Christmassy.
And I had that idea on like a Sunday and knew that it would have to be executed in a week to make it happen.
Me, I'm like, all right, bet, come on, let's do it. What you need me to do, baby?
So within a week, we finalized the talent, we finalized AV coming in to shoot it, and I want to say we scheduled it maybe for like 7 or 8 days later. So we came in, everything was getting put together, we were decorating the set, musicians were arriving, AV was here. We thought that we were all clear and ready to go.
So me, I'm already running around the sanctuary like a chicken with its head cut off, just trying to make sure that, okay, this person's set, we got the next people ready. All right, band, you need anything? Wait, why are the lights like that? Let's put some colored lights over here. Let's do this, let's do that.
We turned this organ on, and the second that we try to get sound out of it, nothing.
But in the meantime, between time, come to find out, one of our musicians goes over to the organ and they're like, they flicking switches and hey, your organ isn't working.
It's just nothing. Making weird sounds, weird buzzing.
The organ isn't working. No, but the organ was working like last week, right? So everybody's panicking. They're moving left and right because they don't know what to do.
And so we're sitting here, we are like 30 minutes from the sound check. And I look back at my contractor, he looks back at me and I'm like, what are we gonna do? And he was like, well, it's a good thing I own 3 organs.
And so someone came to me and said, hey, we have 2 options. We can either go get an organ from somewhere, or we just won't have an organ for tonight. And I said, oh, well, not having an organ is not an option. So I guess we need to get to wherever this other organ is.
There's a church down in DC that is currently using one of my organs. And we're just gonna have to go pick it up and bring it. And I'm like, what?
And I'm like, organ? Okay, y'all do that. I gotta run around and figure this other stuff out.
And so the team left with a truck, went to another church, picked up an organ, brought it back to Alfred Street. I want to say it was here maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours later, and we had an organ for the Kaya concert.
One of the things I really believe is that COVID has opened up opportunities for the church that we never would have engaged in, and really exposed some things we probably should have been doing better. And one, of course, is with our audiovisual. Our AV team has stepped up in ways that were unprecedented, and if you think about it, it's probably one of the most critical ministries of the church, with the choir being down, with the ushers not on post, with children's ministries and the nursery not being active and engaged. Think about what happens if we don't have the AV team. Those who are experts in the equipment, those who know about lighting, those who know about staging and setting, and the key is the editing afterwards. Anyone can record, but editing afterwards for excellence takes hours that people don't know about. And without that combination of that team, I don't think we would ever be where we are right now. I've apologized to them. There were moments when we were in live worship where I was sitting in the pulpit, and anyone who's been at Alfred Street knows what the Jedi death stare is when a microphone isn't on or some sound is off, that I sit in that chair and I look up at them like all y'all are fired. Like as soon as we say amen, I'm getting rid of all y'all. And see, even like that, Yaya's phone going off in the middle of an interview. It's just a prime example of incompetence that has risen. No, but seriously, I used to give them the Jedi death stare, and now I've had to apologize because I tell you what, Alfred Street wouldn't be what it is without our AV team right now.
So unfortunately, we are an hour behind schedule. We had network issues. We had singers can't hear each other issues. We got uplight issues on today.